Hi, and welcome to my channel. This is where I share my insights. And today, I'm really contemplating the overcoming of the time and money illusion. And they are illusions. And your ego's not going to want to hear that. But if you listen with an open mind, you may be able to create a space in you that expands. And that space is very important because it is what allows you to transcend the money-time illusion. And you'll experience an interesting kind of freedom that I think few people experience. So stick around and we'll talk about strategies to overcome the time and money illusion. The only thing that I can suggest to anybody that is struggling with managing your finances or feeling like you have no time is to skip it. And ask yourself, what would I do if I had all the time and all the money in the world? You see, a lot of us don't even dwell in that because we spend all of our time looking for time and we use all of our time making money. So we've never gone to that little step beyond that that makes you wonder, how would my life look if I weren't working for money and I weren't in this mindset that I don't have any time? That's it. And that opens a new dimension in your mind, in whatever you put your mind on, whatever you really focus on, expands. For me, it was time first. I just kept fantasizing about a day, just one day, with nothing to do. Like, it clicked in me when I started hanging around people who had retired and how happy they were to have no structure. I mean, they do have structure, but to have a choice every day to do this, and that. And then you're like, do I have enough money that I can do that? But that's what you have to understand, that money follows a mindset of expansiveness. It doesn't allow for the mind to expand. Like you're going to want to know, how much does it cost for me not to work for money? You see, that's already enslaving you in a scarcity mindset. If you say, how much does it cost so I can quit working? You're already still just calculating and conceiving of a trap. You got to skip that and do the work that Joe Dispenza talks about. 20 minutes in the morning fantasizing about the kind of day you want to have, even though you might have to go to a shitty job or do something you feel you have to. If the mind will not dwell in a fantasy, it will fantasize about getting out of the life you're in. So you have to escape through a fantasy before your fantasy becomes a reality. You see? So I just kept wondering, if time were not a barrier, how would my life look? That's all I did. And then what was interesting is my body started changing, like what it wanted to do, which is strange because then I became a neutral witness to it. I started noticing changes in my behavior. I started paying attention to if I wanted to engage in a particular activity like drinking or dating apps or social media, I just started evaluating whether or not those things felt like free choice or habit. See, what we're all imprisoned by is compulsivity. Every single one of us is enslaved by the compulsive mind. And so you got to get past that too. What would my life look like if everything were chosen? So Jesus said, pray as if you already have it. That's another way of saying live as if you've chosen this. Live as if your fate is chosen. So, you choose to be born. And you think the ego thinks, well, I didn't choose that. I was forced to be born. No, I don't know if you were forced to be born either. You just were born. And so that eliminates the friction that you were forced here against your will. And see, the thing is, if you go back to your birth, it just happened. You see? So you weren't chosen to be born. You didn't choose to be born. You weren't born against your will. You see, there's no friction in birth. You just are here. In the same way that you are shining the sun. You see? Well, I'm not doing that. No more than you are choosing to do anything. So all of the happenings that you are witnessing are happening on this scale of non-resistance called Wei Wu or non-force, whatever it's called. If you don't know how to align with that energy of non-force, you'll be enslaved to money and time forever. Skip it. Skip all the obstacles. Skip all the resistance. And just sit there and ask yourself, what would I do with all the time and all the money in the world? And you can fantasize about buying your mansions and your yachts and your hot tubs. Just what I would say is skip all that too. Get through all the purchases. And then what? You see, a lot of us don't know how to operate outside of our decisions based in fear. If you're honest with yourself, you are motivated, and by I say a general person is motivated by fear. And you can hear it in our language. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. That's as if worry and fear kept that alive. And you hear on the radio and in TV, hurry now before the price changes. Get yours now while supplies last. Countdowns. Running out. And so you're prodded by fear. It's like somebody pinches your butt and makes you do something. We're talking about something totally different, that there is no motivation. You're just doing it. So there's no motivation, there's no prodding, there's no against the will. You're in this frictionless motion. Seamless. And so the only thing that's left is joy. I mean, think about it. You've made all the money and you've done all the things and you're now free and retired. Retired simply means restful. And so you want to do, I like to say, be in the seventh day. That's the day God rested. He toiled and labored over his creation and now he's resting. Dwell in that day. Put your feet up. In your mind. And then once you've rested, then what? And so what you're going to do is your mind's going to start gravitating to fun, play. And then you'll dwell in the seventh day as a playful entity. And in Sanskrit, there's a word called lila, which means divine play. And you'll learn how to play with the forms, just like you used to play store as a kid and play school. You can pay your taxes playfully. It's just like plastic coins and tokens, and it's like a video game. You gotta, do all the stuff. There are barriers. But you play a video game for fun because you like the barriers. You like the little puzzles to solve, and you got to earn the money, But if you see life in that Lila way, the divine play, you realize that you can just observe it. So to overcome time and money is to dwell in the space. What would I do with all the time and all the money? Have the shopping spree. Have the lazy days in your mind before you go to work. And guess what? That expands. All the time in the world expands. All the money in the world expands too. Even though I don't have all the money in the world in my personal bank account, I feel like I do. And so I play. I make videos. I play with the dog. I dance. I like to dance. I like to make music. I like to write books. I like to do the things I used to do as a kid. Because all this adulting is pretend. And kids are pretty good at pretending to be adults. And adults think they're really adulting. And they're not. You just didn't have a choice to be here. And you are not here against your will. So that eliminates two of the things that piss people off. Being prodded by fear and dread. Fear and dread. Fear is like somebody pinching you from behind and pushing you. And dread is like having to push through the day. There's no more of that. If you just imagine there's no more working for money and no more beating the clock, nothing. And if you had overcome time and money, you and I would sit here and just commune. We'd drink coffee. If you drank coffee or tea, we would talk about our dreams and goals. We would go for a walk. We'd sit in silence. We wouldn't be sweating it, huffing and puffing. That's called communing with yourself. That's communing with yourself as being in the seventh day. And it's interesting. Then you just watch your character move through time and space without any effort and with a lot of lightness in your heart, you see? So I encourage you to spend 5 minutes every morning dwelling in that space. What would I do with all the time and money in the world? And watch that grow into your life. Watch you become that person who has all the time and the money in the world. I love telling people when they say, "Oh, can you meet at a..." "Oh, yeah, I'm free. I'm free." Absolutely. And in the last 3 years, I have written 4 books. I'm not bragging. I don't want that to sound like an egoic thing, but I want you to know you can. You can be extremely productive and feel like you're not doing much because you're not racing against the clock or trying to work for money. Those are dwindling resources, and that's being trapped in a universe that runs out. And I don't run out because I dwelled in that space the seventh day. What would you do with all the time and money in the world? Let your mind go there and watch how amazing that becomes. It feels like you have all the time in the world. It does. And when you have that sensation, you can do anything. Nothing is holding you back, and nothing is pushing you. It feels so free. And I hope that you'll experiment with that and let me know how it goes. And thank you so much for watching my videos and keeping up with me. And hopefully there'll be some more videos in the future that are practical and helpful to your life. Please check out my blog, mymorningmotivator.com, or one of my books on Amazon. And we'll see you guys next time.